Welcome to Conversations That Matter. I'm Lydia Madrigal. Today's conversations are with leaders of chambers of commerce. Our main question: do you believe Hispanic chambers of commerce are necessary in today's communities? There are those who believe that having Black and Hispanic chambers of commerce is divisive, while others believe that Black and Hispanic chambers of commerce better address the needs of small business owners. We spoke to business owners across the state of Texas who belong to the Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, and this is what they had to say.
I started my business back in the 90s.
When I started 15 years ago, I started with $20,000 that I borrowed from my brother and a prayer.
We started about 5 years ago. We came into Austin, uno, dos, and it was a challenge. Look at that. We didn't know anybody right here.
We felt like there was a need for a second chamber here in Harlingen.
At the time that we realized there was a need, there wasn't any organization out there to be able to help the small businesses.
We felt like the small businessmen, like myself, wasn't getting the attention that we needed.
Yes, there was a local chamber of commerce, which at the time was helping. We're trying to get the big companies to come down here, the big corporations to come to the city, and they were very focused on the big corporations. Well, there was nobody for the small guy who had 2 employees and a prayer.
And of course, I was approached years ago when it first started to become a member, and of course, I reviewed the mission.
We needed a place where we could come together and share ideas, share challenges, and help each other out.
I saw the importance of their mission.
They really get involved with their small businesses, and I think that's what they're all about, is extending and helping small businesses.
I think we're an integral part of the greater Waco, but I think we serve a part of a little niche that can help a specific ethnic group of our society.
For me, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is just more aggressive.
The Hispanic Chamber is really a good place for small businesses or large businesses to come when you're coming into town or you're here and you're wanting to start, because they have the networking capabilities.
Justice Lavoy. From accounting to legal to office supplies to building buildings, all kinds of things of which Hispanic-owned companies are in those types of business need some conduit to get to those buyers, and the Hispanic Chamber opens that doors.
They embraced me, they guided me, they told me where to go.
The reason I came to the chamber is for office space, but I got a lot more out of it.
We can state that
The chamber was the first, not only a business and strategy advisor, but also at the same time,
he's helped me figure out strategies on how to grow my business, how to attract more customers.
Back the review.
They gave us mentors. They showed us what to do, how should we approach in the business world, what to expect things.
My first compadre was the Chamber of Commerce.
I became a member because they do a lot of networking.
I was actually working for another company and I wanted to get more involved in the community, so I reached out to the Hispanic Chamber.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a part of the greater city chamber, wherever you're at. In fact, I encourage people to do that. But I think if you're seriously interested about helping the Hispanic part of the community, the Hispanic Chamber is a chamber to join.
They advocate helping out small business, women-owned businesses, promoting education, things that will make the economy grow, especially in this environment.
I've always known about the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Lockhart's a diverse town, so we just love to support anybody we can.
It's the way that we're embraced by the Hispanic market. I mean, it's quite a bit different than what we're normally used to as far as just a regular tourism area.
It's kind of a no-brainer if you're a business owner.
And the new 41% as far as Hispanic in the Panhandle, that's very exciting, those kind of numbers, because that's a whole new market that we're seeing.
40!
So we're looking forward to a lot more business from them and a lot more partnerships in the community with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
I found it totally important to be a member of this type of organization, being that the population here happens to be lend more towards the Hispanics.
That one right there, especially when the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is dedicated to bringing helping businesses in Lockhart, bringing more business to Lockhart and everything. And so we love Lockhart and we want to do everything we can to help.
I cannot express, how important it is to be a member of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
It's been very helpful to me in terms of introductions to major companies.
I think for me, it's what's a fit for me. This chamber is an advocate for small business.
But I think more than just becoming a member, you have to develop a relationship with the staff at the chamber. And we're willing to hear critiques on your business and be willing to listen to people and not just be stubborn in your own way.
We recently spoke to the president of the Odessa Chamber of Commerce and the Odessa Hispanic Chamber of Commerce about the role of chambers and their thoughts on Hispanic chambers of commerce. This is what they had to say.
Do you feel there is a need for Hispanic Chamber of Commerce?
We have never here at the Odessa Chamber felt like that there was a need for multiple chambers. In particular, the chambers of ethnicity, Hispanic chamber or a black chamber. We think that, and I believe that a Chamber of Commerce is for all businesses. When you develop a chamber for a particular segment of the community, a particular ethnic group, that promotes segregation. And we have been working for many, many, many years to get away from segregation. So we think for that reason, we don't need to have multiple ethnic chambers of commerce. Business does not see ethnicity. It only sees green, and that's money. And if there is a need for a product and you are providing a good service, then on a timely manner at a good price, then you will attract the business. Whether it's a Hispanic-owned, Anglo-owned, Black-owned, or Chinese-owned business. Business does not see ethnicity.
There are those who support Hispanic chambers that believe that one reason they exist, other than maybe years ago there was this tension among the ethnicities. Now they feel that the small business needs are better addressed in chambers like Hispanic chambers than they are at larger chambers like the Odessa Chamber. What would be your response to that?
I can speak to this area locally, but I'm familiar with our current situation. Out at the University of Texas Permian Basin, they have the Small Business Development Center, and they are doing a fantastic job of assisting people who want to become entrepreneurs in how to develop their business plan. They sit down with them and they create the business plan with them and teach them what they need to know for a first-time business owner. They're doing a very good job. So that part of business assistance is being taken care of at the SBDC. So, we here at the Odessa Chamber do not do business assistance as far as startups. We refer those to the SBDC.
I see, because we do have so many, particularly Latino immigrants, that there are language barriers at times. Have you come across any of that?
We have had individuals come in that their first language was Spanish, and they're interested in startup business, and we refer them to the SBDC, and they are bilingual out there, so their needs can be taken care of.
If you could paint the chamber world the way you would like to see it, describe what that would look like.
Chambers are changing. We used to be the primary source for business information. With the advent of the internet, we no longer are the only place that business owners can get the information that they need. Chambers are having to recreate themselves and become something other than just the only information source for business. It's really been a struggle the last few years regarding membership. And until we develop more programs to provide the needs that are out there in business, and not the needs of furnishing information, but programs and/or services, there's probably going to be a lag. I see the chamber role as continuing to take care of the business environment, and it is always changing, so chambers must change too.
What role do you believe that chambers play in communities, both Hispanic and greater chambers?
I think it's a big role that they play based on keeping the community together, keeping the community informed, fighting for legislative issues. I think it just bonds the community together, a Chamber of Commerce, if it's done correctly. The goal should be to help established businesses to grow and training, all kinds of aspects.
Do you believe that Hispanic Chambers of Commerce should stand alone, or should they be part of a greater chamber?
That's a question that's been asked forever and ever, and I think there's a room for both of them. You know, we serve a purpose and they serve a purpose, and it has worked well in other cities, and I think it's going to work well here. You know, it's not as strong here as it is in other cities, but I think as we become stronger, it's going to work good. Hand in hand, both chambers can work together for the better of the community.
Do you believe that Hispanic Chambers of Commerce exist because there was a time when there was inequality in the communities?
I think that's what they started off with. And now that, you know, especially in the big cities, you take like El Paso, Fort Worth, Dallas chambers, really I think that's gone away. They just became easier for Hispanics, especially Hispanics of first and second generation, to get more involved in the community.
How do you feel that the Hispanic youth are responding to the business community?
One of the sad things I think about that part is that because of the oil boom here, especially Hispanic young people quit school very early to go into the oil fields. The lure of money gets them out into the oil field, and then sometimes they get used to getting that income that's hard for them to ever come back and go to school. And I think that has hurt our youth. Try to give them a picture of the future and not just the gratification of money today, but what can become if you do stay in school.
Many statistics will show that Hispanics, and particularly Hispanic women-owned businesses, are the fastest growing businesses in the country. Why do you think that is so?
More Hispanic women stay in school. That's why they get more educated. They look at owning their own business because they understand how the economy works, basically. And I think that's really what encourages more women to do that. And I think Hispanic men, a lot of us are still in that machismo sort of deal. Hispanic women communicate better with each other than Hispanic men communicate with each other. I think that's really the big thing. Women get together, Hispanic women get together, they talk about business, and they encourage each other women. 5
years from now, where do you see the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce being?
More involved in the community than we are, helping small business a lot more than we're helping them now. And hopefully by then that we can increase our funding so that, because as you know, everything takes money. And if the more money that we have, the more of the projects that we can take on that we can't take on now. We're still growing, thank to God.
I know that you mentioned that you felt most chambers should stand on their own 2 feet, so to speak, in terms of funding. When the funding was cut in half, how did the Hispanic Chamber respond to that?
I know we weren't happy with it, but I mean, business is business. We had to move on. And we just said, hey, we got to increase our projects that we have and hopefully increase our membership. And we've been able to increase our corporate membership a lot more, so that has helped us. So basically, we just moved on.
Start your day with breakfast at the Coast. Coast 101 Cafe, downtown Odessa. At Coast 101 Cafe, coffee's not the only thing we make fresh every morning. From tortillas to French toast to eggs just the way you like them. And if you're in a hurry, call ahead for our curbside service. See you at the Coast. Coast 101 Cafe, downtown Odessa. You'll enjoy the experience. Hispanic chambers of commerce have been around since the early 1900s. We met with the president of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and other leaders of chambers of commerce throughout the state of Texas, and this is what they had to say.
And as I pause and reflect on the impact that we are having, collectively are having on our community and this country.
Why have an Hispanic Chamber of Commerce as opposed to, say, a Chamber of Commerce? They say, why can't we just all be together?
Right.
What do you say? If anybody says that to you, what would you say?
You know, the reality of it is that there are still challenges and needs that are unique to the Latino community.
We're filling a need that was being unmet by the existing chamber.
Especially communities where Latinos make up a larger portion of the demographics.
And the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and certainly the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, first and foremost advocates for America's small businesses.
We get asked that a lot. You know, what's the difference between us and them? And we're all in it for the same reason. To make sure that we provide products and services and promotions to our businesses that need to connect with other groups of people that may not know their products and services.
Chambers of commerce really help entrepreneurs and small businesses because they provide them with all sorts of resources and with connections. So these chambers are very, very important in helping businesses get on their feet.
I think one of the greatest things that a business community can do is to try to serve the entire business community.
We advocate for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We happen to be of Hispanic descent.
Because of the Hispanic Chamber's steadfast commitment to pro-business values for more than 3 decades, Hispanic-owned businesses have had the opportunity to grow and thrive.
We throw our arms open to anybody who wants to join our organization.
Becoming a member of a larger chamber, the regular chamber of any city, is a little overwhelming and can be even intimidating. You do not necessarily feel that you're a part, that you're welcome.
Anything else with that?
There's two schools of thoughts in that.
Birds of a feather flock together. People have a comfort level going and talking to people that are like them.
Well, for one,
sometimes our challenges are different.
In my opinion, it's important because
we're very, very down to earth.
We deal with the people that have 1 employee to, say, 50 employees.
Una variedad de 100 tequilas dentro de Casa Chapala.
Hispanics do business differently.
This is one of the air charter airplanes.
As a small businessman, as a Hispanic businessman, we found that sometimes there was a culture difference in the way our business runs.
Once we acknowledge that, and you'll be able to know that that's a need for an Hispanic chamber.
We're very accommodating. The Hispano is usually very humble, and they're intimidated.
The regular Chamber of Commerce didn't quite understand that culture difference.
When you take a charter,
we felt like we needed a chamber that understood what our challenges were.
Yet when they come to our offices, you know, they feel, you know, the abrazo, the buenos dias, and, you know, they feel at home. They don't feel intimidated at all.
Our question would be, why have a Chamber of Commerce? Why not have a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce?
We don't know our own strength. We don't realize the power of the Hispanic community and the power of the Hispanic business community.
The San Antonio Hispanic Chamber of Commerce was America's first Hispanic chamber, formed in 1929 on Cinco de Mayo. On May 5th, it was created by the Consulado Mexicano.
This is a very unique chamber in the sense that we perform a dual role.
We're both what you would call a greater chamber because it was established in 1915. Served the purpose as all chambers do. And then about 15 years ago, we decided to join the TAMAC, the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce, and be part of that and to play a more active role in what traditionally Hispanic chambers do. And so we're the only chamber really in the state of Texas that is both what you would still consider a greater chamber and the Hispanic chamber for the area.
The Hispanic Chamber is taking an important role. It's a role that is meeting a need in our community. We're 63% Hispanic population. It could be that maybe one day we become the only chamber in San Antonio and the others merge perhaps with us, because as the majority population, it could be that we may be the natural one chamber for the city, even though we might be considered an ethnic chamber.
You recognize that the fastest growing element of small business is Hispanic small business. The impact of the Hispanic population, both as entrepreneurs and as consumers, is so evident and so important that we believe the Latino community, the Hispanic business owner, is critically important, particularly at a time like this, when you look at the fact that 64% of all jobs in America are generated by small businesses.
Okay, so we need to write all the checks.
Particularly in markets that are in Texas, that are in California, that are in New Mexico, that are in Florida, that are in New York, that are in Illinois, and on and on and on. And you recognize that the fastest growing element of small business is Hispanic small business. The needs, the aspirations, the unique attributes of a Hispanic business owner really call for an organization.
We're bringing money for investment to create jobs and to help all of our hermanos Latinos here in the U.S.
That centers on that advocates on behalf of the Hispanic business owner.
The fact that if in any way my fans or people that have watched us grow and seen our career can look to us and say, hey, I don't have to change my name. I can be who I am, and I could still succeed in this amazing country.
We're all in it for the same reason.
Especially communities where Latinos make up a larger portion of the demographics.
Well, I agree that it would be great for, in a perfect world, one business association.
In a perfect world, we probably would need one chamber.
In a city would probably simplify things.
Sure. Well, wouldn't it be great if we lived in a world that had no chaos? That's a pipe dream.
We're not quite there yet.
I think the beauty of having choices between our chamber and other chambers is the fact that we are very unique in terms of the services that we provide.
Or the immediate things that up-and-coming businesses can see from a chamber is image.
Extremely grassroots, we're very hands-on.
Chamber gives that image. It gives you an image that you are responsible, that you are part of an organization that is part of the community.
In this world, we all wish that we could all work together.
Ladies and gentlemen, our businessman of the year.
But sometimes it's about choice. Some things are not for some people.
So you ask yourselves, it's not about having one chamber that does everything. It's about a chamber that understands the mission and vision of that business, and that business really getting the most value out of that chamber.
For us, the mission is to make sure that those companies that have not yet tapped into the Hispanic market know how to do so.
We're almost up to 41% Hispanic, and that's a very, very viable market.
You don't have to be Hispanic to join the Hispanic Chamber in any city in America. You just have to believe that we want an equal society with equal opportunities.
Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. We are humbled by your friendship. We wouldn't be here without you. Thank you.
Logic gets you from A to B. Your imagination gets you everywhere.
There are over 200 Hispanic chambers of commerce in our country today. Some have dissolved and become part of the Greater Chamber, such as in Lubbock, Texas. Whether you're a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce or a Greater Chamber of Commerce, chambers will have to adapt to the changing technologies and to the fastest growing businesses, which happen to be Latino-owned. I'm Lydia Madrigal, and this is Conversations That Matter. Thank you for joining us.
What do I like about Super Burrito?
What do I like about Super Burrito?
I like the chili verde the best.
What do I like about Super Burrito? Chicken fajita nachos.
Burritos. What I like about Super Burrito is their ice cream.
Breakfast burritos are the best.
Homemade tortillas.
It is so good.
What do I like about Super Burrito? Service with a smile.
It's my Super Burrito.
Start your day with breakfast at the Coast. Coast 101 Cafe, downtown Odessa. At Coast 101 Cafe, coffee's not the only thing we make fresh every morning. From tortillas to French toast to eggs just the way you like them. And if you're in a hurry, call ahead for our curbside service. See you at the Coast. Coast 101 Cafe, downtown Odessa. You'll enjoy the experience.